It has been a long road for the French military, trying over and over again to build a superior heavy tank. After the AMX 5120 failed to reach the French weight limit, the French tried again to build a new heavy tank. During 1956 through 1958, the French redesigned the AMX 5120. With a new hull design and a new turret design, the AMX 50B was created. The AMX 50B inherited another problem from the AMX 5120, the lack of horsepower. The French wanted a 1,200 horsepower out of their tanks, but could only get about 1,000 horsepower. Even after German designs team came in and helped, they could not achieve the 1,200 horsepower. Eventually, the French military gave up their idea of building a heavy tank. Only 5 prototypes of the AMX 50B were ever built. The French military did not attempt building another tank until the 1980s. The French AMX 56 still uses the AMX 50B's technology by using an autoloader for its 120mm gun. With all the problems that the AMX heavy lines have had in the past, does the AMX 50B really have what it takes to be a tier 10 in World of Tanks? What's up everyone, WizardKen here, and today we're going to be reviewing the AMX 50B. Now, one question I stated at the beginning of this video is, can this tier 10 really compete with other tier 10s? Is the AMX 50B really a tier 10? The reason why I state that is because the armor rating on this tank is the weakest heavy tier 10 tank. It is the weakest out of all the heavy tanks. Now, does that mean that you have to have the best armor out there to compete in tier 10s? No, but it does have a huge influence on how you play the tank. Now remember guys, these are just my opinions of these tanks that I review. These are just how I play the tanks, but I bring up some good questions because a lot of people look at these tanks, especially ones that don't have a lot of armor, like an arty. I mean, seriously, you get spotted in your arty right at the beginning of the game, you can kiss your ass goodbye because you're pretty much dead. So, or a light tank, if you get spotted and then you get shot at twice, 3 times, you're dead. But why would they put a heavy tank, a tier 10, with no armor pretty much on it? Let's talk about the armor real quick. 170 millimeters whole armor in the front, and then you got 30 on the side, 30 on the rear. On the turret, you have 100 millimeters on the front, 50 on the side, and 30 on the rear. There is no armor to this tank. It's pretty much like playing an artillery. A couple little hits and you're dead. Right? I mean, that's what we would think, right? Wrong. Okay, now let's get into this. The hit points on this tank is 2,000. That is really good. That's what saves this tank, to be honest with you. This tank gets saved a lot because of its hit points. It can take a couple of good hits before it dies. And also, this is a heavy tank, but we don't play it like a heavy tank. We play it like a sniper. We play it like a supportive role. This is a very supportive tank. You know, when the French made the AMX 50B, they were trying to make a very agile, a very mobile tank. And they did, to an extent. This thing is very fast. This thing can go up to 65 kilometers an hour. Downhill, I've gotten this thing up to like 70 something, almost 80 before going downhill. This thing is very fast. And so, if it's fast and it's got a good gun on it, and you know how to use a tank like this, you can be very, very nasty. I've had games where I have done almost 7,000 damage because I was able to get in and out of situations. And that, my friends, is what a lot of people have stated on the forums, and other reviewers have stated. Using the agility and the ability of this tank to its fullest is not being a regular heavy tank. You need to move around, you need to keep your distance, and you need to be supportive. So when all those people get pissed off with you that you're not in the midst of the battle, tell them to kiss your butt, because you're playing this tank to its best, to the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be supportive. Okay? So, like we said, the hit points is 2,000. The speed limit, like we stated, is 65 kilometers an hour. Now, the other thing you need to worry about is the traverse speed of the tracks and the turret. The turret traverse speed is 36 degrees a second. It's pretty fast. It's not slow. It's a really good speed to have on here. So you have a very quick tank, and you have a very good traverse speed, and you're an autoloader. So far, the armor rating can kiss my ass, because right now you have a pretty nice tank that can move fast and can turn quicker than most heavy tanks can with the turret. Now, for the tracks, it can also traverse at a 36 degree per second. So you can not only turn your turret quick, you can also turn your tracks quick. This is great. It's like playing a heavy tank with a medium body. I mean, really, you have the medium track and traverse. That is awesome. But you're a heavy tank, which means you're going to have more hit points, which we talked about. 2,000 hit points. Pretty freaking nice. And then you have an autoloader. Pretty sweet. So, I know, it sounds like I'm like saying this is like the best tier 10 out there. It's not. It has its flaws, like we stated. If you want to ricochet with this tank, very rarely happens. And when we look at the weaknesses of this tank, you're going to be like, there's no spot that you can't pin. Really, it is shitty on trying to ricochet anything. You're better off, like I said, if you're going to get hit, you might as well just take the hits and try to get out of there. That's it. You can't just sit there and hope that you can ricochet. I can tell you that right now. I've done everything from hold down positions to angling to trying to just do different types of positions with rocks and hills and stuff, and I get my ass handed to me. The best way I've worked this tank is just staying away from everyone. Now, let's take a look at the vulnerability so you guys can see what I'm talking about on this armor. Alrighty guys, now you can see with the pictures, holy crap, this thing is pretty much shoot anywhere and it's gonna pin. Of course the lower plate can be pinned, and in the pictures it doesn't state that the upper plate is, you know, that you can pin it, because it does have some slant to it. The upper hole does have some slant to it, but the thing is, and it kind of reminds me of the T110E5 or the T57 a little bit, but it has no armor to it. You're gonna be able to pin that with a BB gun. So like I said, don't expect this thing to ricochet a lot. So also you can see that the turret ring is exposed. I have had my turret taken on this thing a lot. I've been ammo racked in this thing a lot. My ammo has been like a minute reload because people just take out my ammo like fucking no tomorrow. Like we stated, the turret ring is completely an exposed area. There's no spot that you can't hit there without taking that thing out. Of course, on the top you can see the commander's hatch and this little gunner hatch over here, and they are easy spots to hit. They're a little bit smaller to hit, but you can hit them. I wouldn't even try to shoot at those if I was you. When I go against these tanks, I shoot everything because I can pin everything. Now let's move to the side and look at that. Alrighty guys, here we are on the side, and I know I didn't spend much time on the front because there's nothing to really show. This tank is just going to be terrible to protect. It's going to be terrible. So on the side of this thing, starting on the lower part of the hull, looking through the tracks, right in the dead center of this thing is a nice spot to hit because that's where the ammo is. So if you can hit this thing dead in the center, just line it up with where the turret is in the center, right between the tracks, it's gonna ammo rack. I've been hit there many times, ammo racked. On the rear end of the tank, of course, that's where the engine is. You're gonna catch it on fire pretty easily. you could see right, if we get right up on the side of the turret, that is a nasty spot to hit, right in the middle. And you guys can see all this stuff on the pictures. Now the orange spot, of course, is where the commander's hatch is, and that is just, you know, I wouldn't even care for hitting there, to be honest with you. When I shoot at this tank on the side, I usually try to hit the end wing, the side wing, or in the middle of the hole at the bottom, like in between the tracks. The reason why is because I like to ammo wreck this thing. If you can ammo wreck this thing, priceless, guys, priceless. A 50-minute reload for this thing sucks. Okay, it really sucks to have that, especially if you already use your repair kit. You're pretty much out of the game, because a minute reload sucks to have on this tank. Trust me. Every time I've had it happen to me, I've died instantly after, because I can't get reloaded in time. So those are some nasty spots to do on the side. Looking at the rear of this thing, of course, like I stated, there's no armor on this thing. There's none at all. Of course, you could take out the whole entire engine just by peeing on the back end of this thing. The top of the turret, good spot to hit if you want to try to ammo wreck it. I recommend it, because usually, I don't know, I usually don't get my engine taken out too easily with this tank. It's usually just the ammo wrecking I get mostly on this. And of course, the side of this tank, as you can see, same thing as the other side. You can ammo rack on the back end of the turret. You can take out the gunner right here if you wanted to. Right, instead of the commander, you would take out the gunner. You also have, like I said, the ammo on the side of the hole right between the tracks. Nasty spot to hit and do ammo rack damage. And also in the back, you've got the engine. Now, so far we've talked about this tank and how, you know, it's got some good things, it's got some bad things, especially the armor. I mean, there's some really bad stuff in there, and I would say right now there's more negative than good, because the speed and the traverse speeds are one thing, but right now I feel like the armor is killing us. So let's see what else makes this tank really good. Let's look at the gun. Now, historically, this engine is not the real engine that was in there. This is a 1,200 horsepower engine. It's not really the one that was in there. It was only 1,000 horsepower. But, you know, of course, you know, Wargaming, I guess, just wanted to put one in there. I don't know. Anyways, but the gun on this thing is 120 millimeter. It's pretty much the same thing as the AMX 5120, except you do get 4 rounds on this thing, just like the other. But look at the penetration, 257. You have a rate of 6 rounds a minute. This is actually slower than the T57. T57 can do a little bit more than this can, but look at the penetration on this thing, 257. This is where this tank becomes a tier 10 again. That is a lot of penetration, and you get 4 rounds and then you have to reload, and it's pretty quick. It's not bad at all, and then you do 400 damage. So all I have to say is you could penetrate a lot of people on here. You're not really aiming for a lot of weak spots. I mean, I still do, but there's sometimes I just randomly shoot just because I know I'm going to die. And I've nailed, you know, E100s in the front, and I've pinned them. Like, it's just magically gone through. I've done a high enough roll that it's gone through. Freaking awesome. Now, the aim time is 3 seconds. Not killer. It's not terrible. Accuracy is 0.34. Pretty good for an autoloader, I must say. But all in all, this is what makes this tank a lot better, is having an autoloader and then having that penetration. The penetration is amazing. Now, equipment right now, I only have the enhanced gun laying drive. Eventually, I will get the vertical stabilizer, which is a nice thing to have on this tank. Of course, you don't get a gun rammer because this is an autoloader, and you don't get gun rammers on here because it's an autoloader. The only other thing I would do is maybe toolbox, just because it'll help you repair some things quicker. Camouflage, not going to help you on here. Improved vents, pretty good. Or wet ammo, that's another good one to have on there. Ammo durability is another one I've thought about putting on there instead of the toolbox. So I'm still debating, but I'm probably going to go with the wet on here. So anyways, let's take this tank out for a spin so you guys can see it a little bit more in action, and we could talk about a couple more things. Alrighty guys, we are on Highway Encounter Battle, and we are the 2 tier 10 and a tier 9 battle. If you guys haven't noticed, we had a new update that happened today. We are going to be doing a review on the update tomorrow. There's been a lot of new things added here, like encounter battles on the Arctic region and stuff like that. Also on here we have some new encounter battles. I don't know if there's any new maps. I'm still waiting for the release notes to come out. There was a mini game at the beginning that was pretty fun to play while we were waiting for everything to load up. This is a huge update. They changed up a lot of things. It's cool that we have the event log that we can now look back to about 5 battles back, and we can brag to our friends, which is pretty badass. So there's a lot of other things we're going to talk about later on. So, but let's take this thing and see if we can get it to get up to speed. Ooh, who's the lucky bastard out there? Ooh, hello, Patton. And yep, the Patton's gonna use his ability of seeing far for him to kick our ass. Like you can see, I'm pretty freaking fast at turning while I'm moving forwards. Come on, that's pretty fucking sweet right there. I am enjoying this. Trust me. T-54. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Eat it. Now we're gonna reload. Tons of people shooting at us. Probably shouldn't have stayed out there that long. Yep, look at that. Ammo wrecked. Told you. Almost every time. Ammo wreck is the worst thing for me. That's why I'm seriously debating getting that wet ammo. Because I'm tired of fucking getting ammo wrecked like crazy. I'll still get ammo wrecked, but not as much. Oh my gosh. Look at this. This is bad for our freaking Patton down there. Oh. That was a bad shot. I shouldn't have done that. You really want to be careful with your shots. You really want to make them count. Ah, son of a bitch. Like that. That was terrible. That was terrible. I should have taken my time. Well, at least our Patton made it. Terrible shots. You know, I'm going to go ahead and reload. Might as well do it before I get ammo wrecked again. Where are these guys at? Okay, they're a little bit further out. We don't have the radio range, the view range to see that far yet, so I have to try to get a little bit closer, see if we can see these guys. I still have to watch out for my left side because we are getting close to that capture zone. Is that? Yep, the Patton's still alive. Fuck. Well, dude, I can't see him yet, so there's that fucking Patton. Bad shot. There we go. There's one. Come on, reload. There we go. As you can see, I have no problem penning these guys. Like, it's very easy for me to pen. Gonna reload again. Like I said, it's very rare that I actually ricochet. I usually do a lot of damage. Hopefully we can get in here and get some more damage in here. I really want to do as much damage as possible so you guys can see what the potential of what you can get. And even this is just the, you know, skimming the top of the potential damage you could do. I've seen some reviews on this tank, and I've seen some freaking damage that people have done. That is crazy amount of damage. Yep, eat it. Yep, you're gone. Tons of damage right there. Tons of damage. Gotta reload again. Let our buddies know we're reloading. Oh my gosh. Such a powerful tank. And as long as we stay back, we're not getting in there too much. We are getting close to these guys, but to be honest with you, we are staying back a good amount. We're waiting until we're reloaded to really stick your head out there. And that's a problem with a lot of people. When they're reloading, they like to stick their head out there. They're like, oh, I want to see what's going on. No, you don't. You don't need to see what's going on. Oops. Shit, that was a bad shot for me. Come on, come on. Get in there. There we go. One more good shot in there. Alrighty. We could have taken out the IS-8, but yeah, we didn't. Now, what would be a nasty team together is the back chat and this. I've done this with Cosmic Carry a couple of times, and it has been a nasty duo because they're both fast, and they both have autoloaders, and they both do a lot of damage. It is a fun set of tanks to run with. I mean, come on, come on, come on, come on. No! Fuck. It was a good game, though. Good game. All right, 53,000 in silver, 2,646 in experience points, and we got mastery badge. Freaking sweet. Let's look at this. 3,000 damage. Now, I know it doesn't seem like a lot because we did go get some tier 9s. We've kind of done a heck of a lot better with this tank. Oh my god, I got something in my eye. Fuck. Anyways. 19 shots fired, 15 of them penetrated. Not bad. Enemies damaged 6. Enemies destroyed 3. But really not bad at all. 1,474 or 71 in assisting. Alright guys, so what is my real opinion of the AMX 50B? You know, we've got a great amount of speed. We have good traverse speed, as you guys saw. We have a really good penetrating gun with, you know, it's an autoloader. It's great. But what are the bad things? Well, one, it has no armor to it at all. It gets ammo wrecked very easily. And you can't really get into the fight. You have to stay back and fight. So, my thoughts on this tank is this. Guys, if you're used to playing medium tanks or light tanks, this is a good tank for you to do if you want to have a heavy. You play it kind of like a medium light tank. You stay back, you know, you do your shots where you can. It is not one of those tanks that are for those people that like to be in those like E100s or mouses that you just go in there and kick everyone's ass. You know, you just take the hits, keep going and going. This is not that tank. You really have to be patient with this tank, and I couldn't have asked for a better game that I just had. I mean, it was a very, very good game. But my thing is with you guys is you got to be careful with this tank. Some of you guys are going to like it, some of you are not. It's just like the IS-7. Some of you guys liked it, and some of you guys don't. It's one of those things that hopefully my review of all the AMXs will show you that they never changed. There was none that were, you know, heavily armored or anything. They were all pretty much the same. Lightly armored tanks that needed to be snipers, that needed to stay back and just help the friends out. That's it. So if you don't like staying back or anything like that, please, I wouldn't worry about going down this line. It's a fun line, but if you want something that you can actually push in there a little bit more with, the T57 line, American Heavy Tier 10 is your tank that you're gonna want to play with. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos, guys. You guys have been great. I'm glad to be back from vacation. We will be doing a review on some of the stuff that they've updated this time. As you guys know, some of the menu stuff has changed, and I think there's gonna be some more stuff to come with more updates that they're going to be bringing out. I know that they stated about a practice mode eventually and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that now that they are allowed to put, you know, make bigger updates, you know, that they can actually exceed a lot more than what they've been doing. We're going to see a lot better content and quality out of this game. We are going to get a lot more stuff, and I'm excited about it. I know a lot of other people are. Thank you guys so much for everything and all your support. And we're going to go down the... That's such amazing English, let me tell you. But then again, I only got C's in English. So, anyways, we're going to start going down the French artillery line. I have the tier 7 right now. We're going to talk about the tier 6 a little bit, but we're going to really start on the tier 7 and how amazing these freaking tanks are. I fell in love with this tank pretty much instantly. They've been a lot of fun. Bubba has not stopped playing these tanks since he started them. He loves them, and we can't wait until we get to the tier 10 autoloader. It's going to be great. The Lorraine right now is great, but I can't wait until I get to tier 10. Anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Until next time, see ya.